Welcome back to another COVID-19 Franchise Leaders Respond. I'm your host, Red Boswell with IFPG. And today, we've got a special guest. This is not a franchisor. He's not a member of a franchisor team, but he's got some very unique insights into the franchise community from a different perspective. Plus, he is a franchisee himself. Welcome to today's interview conversation, Tom Epstein.
Hey, thanks, Red. Glad to be here.
And Tom, if you don't know him, I just assumed everybody knew Tom already. Tom is the founder CEO of Franchise Payment Network. He's founder CEO of POLN8, and no doubt a few other brands I'm not even aware of yet. And he's that franchisee of Cycle Bar. So, Tom, first of all, how are you and your family doing? How's everything health-wise and safety-wise?
Everything's good down here in Florida. It's not so bad. We're in Central Florida, Orlando, so we haven't been too crazily affected. So my family's all good. 2 kids, they're happy to be doing school from home so they don't have to go in. And that 8-hour day has turned into about an hour and a half for them. So they're happy with that. And, our staff at our office, we're all good. We're a financial services company, so we're on that exempt list and we have to be there. So we're still going into the office every day. I'm doing this interview, though, from home because I don't want somebody just popping in my office and asking me a question at an inopportune time. So.
Understood. I've got 3 at home as well. And boy, I tell you what, they get their schoolwork done fast. I think they're learning not to get their schoolwork done so fast because my yard looks better than ever, buddy. I've been keeping them busy.
Yeah, they're finally motivated to get their work done, right?
They are.
Yeah, get a time limit of the 8 hours. So they figure, well, if I can get it done in 2, I'm cool. And then they've got the rest of the day.
Learning some time management too. Hey,
Yeah.
So on topic, we're here to discuss how, I've been asking franchisors, how has their organization been impacted, and then kind of transition to how have you responded, how have your franchisees responded, how are you supporting them? So from your perspective, with, I would assume hundreds, if not thousands of franchisor and franchisee clients, thousands in that case, help us understand any insights you've gleaned from this crazy time we're in.
Yeah, so we do. We have a very unique view into what's going on with the business community right now as a payment processor and as a loyalty company. So every day I kind of go in and I check the volume of our merchants out, see how they did yesterday versus how they did, say, a month ago or 2 months ago, and take a look at that. We have a very diverse portfolio. So we've got a lot of hospitality, being restaurants and hotels and salons, hair salons, stuff like that. But we also have a whole lot of service industry guys out there, men in a truck type things, where you've got carpet cleaners, handyman services, people that are hanging window treatments and flooring guys. And so what we're seeing is who's pivoting the fastest, who's doing a good job. In the restaurant space, obviously those guys have been hurt really, really bad. But we've got a couple of brands that were ahead of the game, and they've done extremely well. We work with a company, East Coast Wings. Their sales have been affected a little bit, but they pivoted very, very early to curbside delivery, probably quicker than most people did, and online ordering. And so they're doing very, very well in this environment. Plus, they also have a product that people tend to want to take home anyway, with wings and hamburgers and that kind of thing. And then we've got some that are just a little bit more difficult for them to do that. We've got a lot of, I'd say, the treat industry, like yogurt and cupcakes and companies like that are, extremely affected. And they had to really try to kind of push the envelope a little bit, where some of them closed completely. Some of them stayed open and are doing online. They're doing cake orders. They're doing, believe it or not, order ahead for yogurt and curbside delivery on yogurt, which is something I would have never thought. But they're doing that. The companies that seem to be doing extremely well are these service industry guys. They're doing better business than they were 2 months ago. And, I kind of liken it to, you and I are sitting at home, or our family's sitting at home all day, and some of us are out of work, some of us aren't, but we're sitting at home and we're sitting around looking at, the window treatments going, wow, I've been meaning to do this for the last couple of years. I'm going to call Got You Covered, or I see the flooring is bad, so I'm going to call Floor Coverings International, or the walls need painting, CertaPro. So they're getting that stuff done. And the biggest problem you have when you're calling a service company out is you got to be home to meet the guy, right?
Right.
When you're at home, you got nothing to do, so it's no problem with those appointments meeting those people. So
And then you just kind of meet them from 6 feet, point where they need to go to the other room and close
yeah,
the door and just kind of stay out of the way. And
yeah.
obviously walk
Yeah.
across the hall when necessary. But for the
Well, when you
most
think
part,
about it, it's only a couple of people in the house at a time, right? So, if it's a company and the franchisor is advising their franchisees correctly, they've screened their service people, they're wearing the mask, they're wearing the gloves, it's only 2 people in. You as a homeowner don't want to be in their way anyway, so you're going to be more than 6 feet away. You don't want to hear the noise and disrupt the work. So it's a perfect time to get that kind of work done.
so they're for the most part thriving a little more. They kind of staying even. I mean, I guess there's everything in the mix.
Yeah, they are up. Some of our clients in that industry are up as much as 20-25% right now.
Wow.
So, it's kind of balanced out what we see in our portfolio.
Yeah.
The restaurants are taking a hit. The service guys are doing much better. So it's been an interesting time. And we're teaching them to do things differently than they used to do.
Like what?
We used to always have situations where the franchisee, is usually the salesperson for these types of environments. They'll go in the home, they'll do the quote, they'll do certain things, and then we teach them to take a mobile unit with them and swipe the card right there to get a better rate. Well, a lot of these guys are now doing FaceTime, whatever, walking through the homeowner's house, looking at what area needs to be treated or whatever that they're going to do. And we've set them up to take payments over the phone, right? So that they don't have to be in front of the customer more than is necessary. So it's a little bit different. So we're taking restaurants and moving them to mobile situations so they can take payments at the curb or at the car. And we're taking, which is normally a face-to-face transaction, we're taking them to mobile, and we're taking the face-to-face transactions more to cardless. So it's interesting how different businesses are shifting right now.
That is interesting. Have you seen, you and I haven't talked about this before, so I may be throwing you for curveballs here. Have you seen anything unique or any particular stories of triumph over adversity through this? I know you're not necessarily, you and your team are not on the front lines, but any other stories that would either be helpful to franchisors and their Z's or interesting of how someone's pivoted?
Yeah, I mean, we see this every day. I mean, we have customers certainly that call in that are negatively affected, but we try to take these customers and help show them how they can stay in business and do certain things differently. One of the things that we're doing under our POLN8, our loyalty program, is we're taking people that may traditionally have not done gift cards to doing gift cards. And one of the normal things that you do in the gift card world is you do what's called corporate pooling, to where when you buy a gift card, it's, you pay for it, say it's a $100 gift card, there's a $100 purchase on a credit card or cash, whatever, and it's pooled into a corporate account that the franchisor owns. And then when it's redeemed, it's moved back to whatever franchisee it's redeemed at. But we're taking a lot of companies, like service industry companies or whatever, that traditionally haven't had gift cards, and rolling out a gift card program for them so that they can now do that. But we're not doing the pooling right now. So the franchisees can hold on to that money, and it helps them with cash flow. And then our restaurant clients, same thing. This is something I would never tell somebody to do, but stop your pooling. I mean, whether you're with us or not, we look at it, and I've made some calls to some people that I know in the industry and said, hey, have you thought about doing this yet to help your franchisees with cash flow? We look at it as the best thing we can possibly do for franchisors is get franchisees cash flow so that they can stay open, so that they can pay their bills or position themselves better when the time comes to reopen, right? So if we can help them with cash flow, that's what it's all about right now.
So what happens, I guess this is really rare, when if someone follows that guidance, they stop the pooling, the local franchisees are able to sell it and keep the revenue, but then that gift card is used at another franchise location. Is that tracked in any way?
Oh yeah, we track it on the system or whatever, and it's easy. We just move the money from one store to the other. And
Nice.
then what we're saying is, after 2, 3 months, whenever this thing dies down, we'll start the corporate pooling again. But we just want to try to give people a way to get cash flow to the franchisees.
So this is a great example of, we were using the hashtag franchising stronger together, and you being franchise all in, decades plus in franchising, you're able to have such a unique perspective, and not just perspective, but give unique guidance and advice that, your franchisors and franchisees, when they came to you, they didn't think, hey, there's going to be a global pandemic. And I bet
Right.
Tom and his team could give us some great advice that other payment processors or other loyalty networks maybe couldn't give. And yet you are.
Yeah. I mean, we made a conscious effort probably 30 days ago or whatever to reach out and call every franchisor that is a client of ours. And even beyond that, reach out to ones, because you know how this is. We go to these conferences and we all know everybody, but they're not necessarily a client. Just like you're friends with a lot of franchisors who haven't used your organization yet. Same with us. And we're calling those people that we know and saying, look, I know you're not a customer, but have you thought about doing this? Because this might help your franchisees out.
And they love you for it. And that's it. That's what we're doing here, or just giving back. The rising tide raises all ships, but even if it didn't raise all ships, we want to give and support. There's people hurting. There's people lives at
Yeah.
livelihoods and food on the table type situations here. And it doesn't matter if you're a competitor or a client. We got to help, band together like never before.
That's 100% right. And this, you probably said it a million times on your podcast, but this is why you get involved in franchising. If you're a mom and pop business, you have nobody to lean on. You have nobody giving you this advice. You don't have a franchisor who's out trying to champion with their vendors to figure out a way to either alleviate some of your bills right now or defer them, or talk to the other vendors to see if there's some strategy going on that you aren't employing yet as a franchisee. This is why you become a franchisee. When times are great, sometimes you wonder, you're like, oh man, I bet I could do it better than they do, whatever. No, you can't, because when times are like this is when you need a franchisor.
Absolutely. I've interviewed numerous franchisors. I've kind of seen all over the spectrum, some giving royalty deferral, some giving royalty forgiveness, others saying, Red, just like you said, Red, they need me now more than ever.
Yeah,
In some cases, their revenue is down, which means my royalties are down anyway,
right.
and they need me. They need my support team. I go lay off everybody, which I'm going to have to lay off some people anyway because the revenue's down. But why in the world would I give royalty forgiveness or deferral, and why would they want me to? They're going to save a few pennies, but they won't have that extra level of support that could make or break
Right.
their business.
Right.
So yeah, it's a great time to be in franchising if you're going to be an entrepreneur.
Absolutely.
So, Tom, I love this perspective you've got. Any other advice or insights to share with the franchise community? Anything you suggest they do if they haven't done yet to weather this storm?
It's just, don't have your head in the sand. Try to keep positive. Turn off the news if you can, because it's all doom and gloom. And if you look at the numbers, it's really not as bad as what the news would have you believe. They'll just report on one pocket or something that it is really bad, but the rest of the world is really trying to do what they can. Don't be afraid to talk to your vendors. If you're a franchisee, or even if you're a franchisor and you feel like you might be starting to get behind with your vendors, we're all in it together. Just call them. They probably have a solution and they want to hear from you. They want to talk to you, because there are ways that they can help you with different strategies that you and I have never even thought of, right? And so how can we do that? It's through more communication than you've ever had in the past. I think that's the one thing that may be good that's come out of this is, we wait until we see somebody at a trade show, or we wait until, there's a reason, or we wait until somebody, sends us something, but we're so busy we can't do it. Communicate right now with your business partners, because there is a way to resolve this. And the ones that are proactive about it, they're going to come out of this way ahead of anybody else. And this might actually be a good time for them. We look at, in our space, we've been pitching contactless payments forever, right? And franchisors were like, yeah, that's a great thing we need to do. Call me later, right? Or, a lot of the things that we've been talking about. I did a a technology thing at MintCon where I was talking about how cash is going away, credit cards are going away, all this stuff is like not going to happen anymore. And everybody's like, Tom, that was a great presentation, but nobody wanted to implement any of it. They all want to implement it now because they understand that this is where we're going as a society. And business has, like it or not, has changed. And if you think when this is all over with, you can go back to doing business the way you used to, you cannot. You need to go out and adopt these new strategies that everybody did while we were having this situation and roll forward. And that's how you're going to increase your business going forward.
So whether they're working with you guys or whoever their processor is, whoever their loyalty program is, get with them and discuss the new, I've honestly hated the new normal phraseology,
I don't like that
but
either.
because I don't think this is going to be normal, but some of it ain't going away.
No.
I'm not giving up my Zoom, man. I'm loving this stuff.
Yeah.
And so the conference calls we're doing virtual speed networking with a lot of our franchisor members. We're going to keep doing that forever. We're loving it. So there's some new normal that is going to stay normal.
It's not the new normal. And you think, oh, we're Americans. We're way ahead in technology. We're like the best in the world. But we're not. We are so slow adopting, at least in the payment space, some of the technology that's been in Europe or Eastern Europe or, South America, whatever. It's been there so much longer. We've had access to it, but we just haven't done it because we're afraid to make change. Well, now we're forced to make those changes. And I don't know if it's the new normal. It's really, we're just catching up with the rest of the world because of this situation. It's kind of a level set, and we're going to be better because of it.
And that was wise words. Stay off the news, brother. Well, the hospitals in Texas were given millions by the federal government to put all these extra beds, and the beds weren't used. And now we're giving the money back, and we're putting the beds away. So I hear you. Appreciate you, my friend. Thanks for your leadership, your servanthood within the community. You're always giving back and sharing. Love Lee and your whole team. So, Tom, I look forward to seeing you for sure, for real. Give you the big hug that we all need. And I'll see you on the road at the next franchise show, my friend.
Yeah, thanks, Fred. I appreciate you. I appreciate these podcasts to keep everybody motivated. Thank you.
Tom Epstein, Franchise Payment Network, POLN8, Red Boswell, COVID-19 Franchise Leaders Respond with IFPG. Thank you. Have a great one.